God is stronger than anything. Ari looked down at the dusty path. It stretched out as far as he could see, winding over hills and through deep valleys. He gripped his walking staff, feeling the smooth wood beneath his palms. "It's a very long way, isn't it?" Ari asked. His older guide, Tobiah, nodded and pointed toward the horizon. "It is a grand journey, Ari, but remember, we do not walk it by ourselves." The road ahead looked big and wide, with mighty nations side by side. As they walked, Ari saw the flickering campfires of great armies in the distance and the high stone walls of giant cities. Everything felt so much bigger than he was. He stayed close to Tobiah's side, listening to the rhythmic thud of their footsteps on the ground. Ari's heart began to beat a little faster. He watched the shadows of the tall towers stretch across the path like long, dark fingers. His legs felt heavy, and he stopped for a moment to catch his breath. The world felt loud and overwhelming, and the mighty nations seemed far too powerful for a small traveler. But then, Tobiah knelt down so he was eye to eye with Ari. He spoke the words they both knew by heart. God said, "Do not shake with fear, for I am strong and always near." Ari took a deep breath. He realized that even though the nations were big, the one who made the sun and the stars was much bigger. Ari felt a new strength in his spirit. He imagined a great shield surrounding them as they moved. He promised he would go before and help his people evermore. Every time Ari felt a moment of doubt, he looked at the bright light of the sun hitting the path ahead, knowing he was being led by a powerful hand. The path led them through a narrow canyon where the rocks were high and the air was cool. Ari heard the echoes of his own footsteps. He knew that sometimes the road gets difficult, but he remembered that God's strength doesn't change when the path gets rocky. He felt brave because he wasn't relying on his own power. With gentle care and mighty hand, he led them to the promised land. Tobiah reached out to help Ari over a fallen tree trunk that blocked the way. "See?" Tobiah whispered. "When the way is blocked, there is always a hand to help you over. God provides exactly what we need, right when we need it." No fear was bigger than his might, for God won every single fight. Ari looked back at the distant towers they had passed. They didn't look quite so scary anymore. He understood now that no wall was too high, and no army was too strong to stop the love of the Creator. The fear that had made his knees wobble was gone. Finally, the road opened up into a beautiful valley filled with green trees and sparkling water. It was more wonderful than Ari had ever imagined. The grass was soft, and the air smelled like wildflowers. They had arrived at the place they were promised, and every step of the long road had been worth it. Ari sat down in the soft grass and looked up at the blue sky. He knew that the journey had changed him. His love stayed faithful, firm, and true. The Lord is strong and goes with you. Whether the road is big or the nations are mighty, Ari knew he would never have to be afraid again.